Maintenance man here trying to solve another one of Mr. Dog Poop's problems. He goes out and buys these cheap grommets. We use them in tarps and we use them in sheets that we tie across big spreads to manage the light. Of course, when I went to use it, it made this, which looks like shit. So I went out and bought this grommet press to see if it would do any better. Let's test it out. So here in the studio, we're always stringing big tarps like this across frames to manage the light. And they have these grommets. A lot of these are custom made. So we need to install grommets. But Mr. Dog Poop goes to Harbor Freight and buys the cheapest thing he can find. You literally put the grommet in here and hit it with a hammer. Here's a cutter. So this would be used to cut a hole, the size for the grommet. And I don't think that's actually going to cut anything. So we tried it out. It ends up looking like this. So I went out and bought a couple cutters. And these are professional cutter sets. Comes with a little block to hit it on. This is Oden 13-piece, and there's all different sizes. And these are made for cutting leather or fabric, and they're quite sharp. Here's another brand, Harden. This is another set also of cutting dies. Obviously a lot more expensive. I want to say these were about $30 just for the set. It's not too bad. And if you're going to cut holes for this, you want these 3 sizes. So get yourself one of these sets. Now you're at $110, $120 for everything. All right, so let's look at, there's 4 sets of dice, 800, 400, and 1,000. And let's see, this is the number 1,000. So this has a little thing that pushes down. It goes into press. You put a screw in here to tighten it up, and then the top piece screws in. And if you get this, make sure you keep them back in the bag so you have the right pieces together. This one seems to be the biggest. So the grommets come in 2 pieces. Apparently, they separate them in bags. So one is a flange, and then one is a retainer, which is just a little washer. So this comes up as a cylinder, and then this will go on it, and then this will get punched down to hold the 2 pieces of fabric together. So what we need is we need a hole that this will fit through. We'll take this size of this. We have a little plastic that comes with it. Take a piece of fabric and let's go ahead and hit it with the hammer and hopefully it cuts it. Oh, look at that. Is that beautiful? That cut nice. The Harbor Freight one that you get cheap when you try to cut it, it didn't even, it may have scratched the surface, but it didn't cut it. So you can see the difference. Now that time it put some indentations in it, but again, didn't cut through. So this isn't very effective. Get yourself one of these cutting kits. Take a different size and test it out. That'll do it. And look at that. Perfect hole. So this was the hole we cut for the grommet. So we're going to put one piece in the hole, right there. And then on the back side, put it on here, we're going to put this retaining ring. Now, these are really small. Make sure you push it down so that it's definitely on. And I'll go ahead and that crushed it down. So now that is a grommet. So compare what happened with the hand tool, which is all smashed in comparison to this. Now this is a much bigger grommet. I like this better. These are probably American grommets, and these are probably metric. But I definitely like a grommet with a bigger thing. These came with the press, so we'll have to order ones that we want. But really nice tool. It is scratchy on the bottom, so I didn't want to put it on Mr. Dog Poop's desk. It can be bolted down, and let's try it again. Give it a good whack with the hammer. Takes that hole right out. Take your ring and just make sure you push down so that it's all the way through. And this is a really thick strapping material that we have here. And when you put the little retaining ring on, so make sure that this is here, and when you put this on, it's in the right place on the retaining ring. And it's pretty easy. And it does give you a nice clean press because it goes into the die. It fits into the die and bends it around, and it gives you a really nice look. We can try the same thing with the, and these are sloppy to begin with. Let's see, what's the biggest hole we have? It's the biggest hole, so I'm gonna do one right next to it with, is this a 12? This is a 10, 11. What the hell? So this is supposed to be 12. Did I have another one? Why does it say 10? Yeah. You know, you buy from Amazon, and I guess you get used to it, because look, the brand new kit, it goes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's in millimeters. They are both 10. So I don't have 12, which is probably what I need. Fortunately, we bought 2 kits, so let's see what this one does. This one's a little bit bigger, 10, 11, 12. Look at that. I guess when you order on Amazon, be careful and check it, because we got 2 10s instead of a 12. It kind of sucks when you go to do something and then you find out you can't do it. Let's go ahead and try this one out. We'll give it a good whack with a hammer. Well, that one worked like the Harbor Freight kit. Let me take it down on the floor, see if it works better on something solid. And it did. So if you have an old desk, probably want to use the floor. And that did a nice job. And that cut just a perfect hole, very easily. And we stick this in and then put a retaining ring on it. And you can see how that sticks through. This is a much bigger grommet. Unfortunately, we don't have a die for it, so this is not going to fit on here. And so we have this die set, which is essentially the same as these, but these are nice machined, and these are some, I don't know what they are. So this fits in here, so that fits tight in there, but this lines up, and it's loose because it can fit different sizes. And then hit it with a hammer. Well, I did that one right, and it came out pretty good. So you got a 50-50 chance. It's a little offset. It's a little more on one side than the other. It's not the end of the world. It does work. That's a nice big grommet. It did get a little smashed up, actually. It's actually kind of a mess. It's smashed on one side. I mean, it'll work for a tarp, but it's not as nice as the press. They both work. If you need to put grommets in, you can get an $80 press on Amazon, or you can get a $5 kit from probably Amazon too. The kits, this is never gonna cut anything, so get yourself one of these cutter sets. They both seem really good. You can probably get some cheaper ones, and you might only need to get the die you want. So maybe I can order a 12 millimeter because mine came with two 10s. That's it. Now I got to get to work and put some grommets in some straps.